How's it going, guys? It's K Cars, and today I'm going to be talking to you guys about the top 10 cars for under $10,000. So these cars aren't just going to be like regular logical cars that anybody would buy. They're actually sports cars. So for example, if you're just getting your license and you're looking for a car to buy for under $10,000 that's also a sports car and fun to drive, make sure to keep watching this video because I'm going to list the top 10 sports cars for under $10,000 and tell you some features about them. So the number one car that I want to talk about is actually the Honda S2000. So it comes with a 2.2 liter 4-cylinder engine. It makes about 237 horsepower at 7,800 RPMs. It weighs about 2,800 pounds, which is extremely light for a car like this. And you actually do get pretty good fuel economy, about 18 in the city and 25 on the highway. If you combine that kind of power and that weight, you get to 60 in about 5.8 seconds in the S2000. Which isn't extremely fast, but it's also not made for straight line speed. It's mostly for handling purposes, like going around a road course or autocross or stuff like that. So you're probably not going to want to go to the drag strip in an S2000. You can find an S2000 for about $8,000 if you find one with about 120,000 miles on it, which isn't too bad, but that's also pretty high. For the kind of car it is, I'd say that's a pretty good price. Now I know what some of you guys are probably thinking. You're probably thinking that Hondas are all racers and whatever, but the S2000 is actually different in my opinion. Now in my opinion, I think most Hondas are racers, like the Civic, Accord, if you actually do stuff to it, but the S2000 can actually be a pretty fun car to drive and actually not a racer. But like I said before, the S2000 is not a drag car. It's more for handling and turning, like autocross or a road course, so it would be a great car for that. The second car is actually a BMW M3. So obviously you can't find a new M3 for under $10,000, but if you look in the year range of about late 90s to early 2000s, you can find a good bit of used M3s for under $10,000. So if you look at M3s in that price range, you'll get a 3.2 liter 6-cylinder engine making around 333 horsepower, and it weighs somewhere around 3,500 pounds, which really isn't that bad. You can find a used M3 like this for around $8,000 to $9,000, and the 0 to 60 time is actually faster than the S2000. It's about 5 seconds. So I'd say the M3 is a similar car to the S2000 because, I mean, you could drag race it, but I'd say it's a better car for autocross or road course, just like the S2000. Even though it weighs a lot more, but it also has more horsepower, so that makes up for the weight. So you can get the M3 with the 6-speed manual or the automatic. And if you want to look really cool, the M3 also offers a convertible top, but that also makes it heavier, which makes it slower. The third car that I want to talk to you guys about is actually the BMW Z3. So if you look for the ones in the late 90s, I actually found some for around $5,000, which is actually a pretty good price for what kind of car it is. So you can get the Z3 with a 1.9 liter 4-cylinder or a 2.8 liter 6-cylinder, and you have the option of automatic or manual. It weighs about 2,700 pounds, which is pretty close to what the S2000 weighs. The 4-cylinder model has 138 horsepower and the 6-cylinder model has 189, which really doesn't seem like much, but for that weight, it's actually a lot. If you're also looking for a car with great fuel economy, this is probably the car for you. It gets in the city about 23 and 32 on the highway. So I'd say the Z3 is actually really similar to the S2000 in terms of the weight and the horsepower. So once again, like I said, for the S2000, it wouldn't really be a drag car. It's more for handling purposes like autocross and stuff like that. So if you're looking for a drag car, make sure to keep watching these videos because some of the cars that I'm going to talk about could actually be good drag cars. Fourth car that I'm going to talk about is the Mazda RX-8. If you look around the 2004 year range for the RX-8, you can actually find them for about $4,000, which is actually a pretty good price for that kind of car. So the RX-8 comes with a 1.3 liter twin rotor and gets 18 miles per gallon in the city and 25 in the highway, and you can get it with either an automatic or a 6-speed manual. So the RX-8 makes 197 horsepower with the 4-speed automatic transmission, or if you get the 6-speed manual, it comes with 238 horsepower. It has a 0 to 60 time of around 6 seconds. Something that I think is pretty cool about the RX-8 is that it actually has front doors and then suicide doors in the back, which I just think is cool for some reason. And I know Mazda called these doors the freestyle doors because they didn't want to say suicide doors. It has a 50-50 weight balance and a really low center of gravity, which makes it really stable on the track or autocross, whatever you want to do with it. The fifth car that I'm going to talk about is the Nissan 350Z. So if you find a good deal on a 350Z, you can actually find them for around $4,000, pretty similar price to what the RX-8 is. So the 350Z is a two-seater with 306 horsepower, and it gets 17 miles per gallon in the city and 24 on the highway. So the 350Z has great control, so it would be a good drifting car, good autocross or road course. I'm sure you guys have seen TJ Hunt's video about his 350Z, his drift car. The 0 to 60 time for the 350Z is around 5.2 seconds. It weighs about 3,500 pounds, which is pretty heavy for a car like that, in my opinion. It comes with a 3.5 liter V6, rear wheel drive, and you can get it with the 6-speed manual or automatic. The sixth car that I'm going to talk about is the Subaru WRX. So if you look at a WRX in the 2005 year range, it comes with a 2 liter 4-cylinder turbo engine. It has a flat 4 and comes with a 5-speed manual transmission. Makes 227 horsepower and it gets 20 miles per gallon in the city and 27 on the highway. So if you're looking for a car to drive in the snow, the WRX would definitely be a good car for you since it's all-wheel drive. It weighs around 3,000 pounds, which is a pretty good weight considering that it's a turbo car and how much horsepower it has, and it's all-wheel drive. In my opinion, I think the WRX is one of the most fun cars in this list just because it's manual and all-wheel drive. You could drift it in the snow or even just regularly drive it in the snow, and you wouldn't have to worry about getting stuck since it's all-wheel drive. And with the turbo engine, you have a lot of mods to choose from. You can do a lot of tuning. The seventh car on this list is the Porsche Boxster. If you look for a Porsche Boxster in the early 2000s year range, you can find them for about $6,000. And who wouldn't want to be driving a Porsche for $6,000? So the engine options for the Boxster is a 2.7 liter 6-cylinder engine making 217 horsepower, or a 3.2 liter 6-cylinder engine making 250 horsepower. And the fuel economy is up to 19 miles per gallon in the city and 27 on the highway. Boxster is a rear-wheel drive car with the option of having a 5-speed manual or an automatic transmission. 0 to 60 time on a Boxster is about 5.2 seconds, and it can also do a 13.8 second quarter mile, which is actually pretty good for this kind of car. But like I said previously, most of those cars that I talked about before this car were mostly for handling purposes, not really drag racing. But the Porsche Boxster could be used more for drag racing, but it's also really good at handling, so it's kind of like an all-around car. The eighth car on this list is a Ford Mustang. Now, depending on what kind of Mustang you get, you can actually get them for really cheap. There's a few for $1,000, and you can get some pretty nice ones for more expensive. So you can get the Mustang with a 3.8 liter V6 that makes about 193 horsepower. Or if you want to get the real car, you get it with the 4.6 liter V8. Which makes about 260 horsepower. Now you can also get the Cobra version, which is more rare, but it makes 320 horsepower. So I'm sure most of you guys probably know it's a rear-wheel drive, and you can get it with the 5-speed manual or 4-speed automatic with overdrive. So the Mustang is definitely more of a drag car, not really for autocross or stuff like that. In my opinion, I'd say it's mostly a drag car. So for those of you wanting a cheap drag car or something to build up, I think a Mustang in this year or price range would definitely be a good car for you to start with. The ninth car that I want to talk about is actually a C4 Corvette. So there's actually a lot of C4s for sale right now, and you can get them for around $4,000 if you're looking at a good one. So you can get the C4 Corvette with a 2-door coupe or convertible. It comes with a 5.7 liter V8 making 300 horsepower. And you can get it with a 4-speed automatic or 6-speed manual. Now, if you're lucky enough to come across a ZR1, that makes 405 horsepower, which is a significant increase. So the regular Corvette can get to 60 in 5.7 seconds, and the ZR1 can get to 60 in 5.2. 0 to 100 times are 13.3 for the regular one and 12.4 for the ZR1. The quarter mile times are 14.1 for the regular C4 and 13.6 for the ZR1. I think the C4 would make a great drag car for just starting out. You can get one for $4,000, put some more money into it, and it can actually be pretty fast. In my opinion, I think the C4 Corvette is my favorite car from this whole list. Just because it's a old muscle car, and I kind of like muscle cars and I like drag racing. So I think the C4 would be a good car for me because I don't want something to build up to be a drag car. And if that's also what you want, I'd recommend the C4 Corvette for you. The last car on this list is the Mazda Miata. The Mazda Miata is a 2-liter, 4-cylinder engine, and it gets about 25 miles per gallon in the city and 30 on the highway. It makes about 170 horsepower. So if you're looking for a used Miata somewhere around the 2006 year range, you can actually find them for pretty cheap. Around $2,000 to $3,000, depending on how many miles you get it with. If you're looking just for a fun car, not really that fast, but good with handling and going around turns, I'd say the Miata would be a perfect car for you to get started on. Just because it weighs around 2,400 pounds, which is really light for a car, and it really doesn't cost that much. So it would be a good car to start out with, in my opinion. If you're not looking for speed or for power, and you're just looking to have a fun little car. It is a 2-seater, and you can also get it with the convertible, and it's a rear-wheel drive. I believe the only transmission option with the Miata is the 5-speed manual. I'm not sure if they made it automatic. So there you go, guys. That's the top 10 cars for under $10,000. So if you're looking for a drag car, I'd say the C4 Corvette or the Mustang that I told you guys about would be the best option for that. But if you're just looking for a fun little car, a fun cheap car to drive, I'd say the S2000 or the Miata would be the best. If you're looking to get performance, but not really for drag racing, say all the other cars would be the best choice for you. So make sure to comment below and let me know if I left some cars out that you think should be a part of this list. And let me know which car from this list is your favorite car. And if you found this video informative or you enjoyed it or anything, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And check out my channel for some other car videos. I post a lot of videos about this Dodge Challenger right here. So if you like content like that, make sure to hit that subscribe button. And I post all kinds of different car related videos like vlogs, reviews, car meets, and racing. So if you like stuff like that, also make sure to hit that subscribe button. And like I said before, like, comment, and subscribe. And as always, thanks for watching.